In a moment's time, guys, I'm going to bring you over to my charts to show you exactly what I suspect to happen with Bitcoin in 2025. I believe it's going to be one of Bitcoin's most bullish years yet. I'm going to be backing that up with charts, fundamentals, technicals. At the time of recording now, it's actually September, middle of September 2024. And I believe now is the time to make this video because we are at a crossroad of macro, financial, political, very interesting things affecting markets right now. So there's a lot to go through, but this analysis and prediction is going to be very valuable because I actually suspect Bitcoin to hit its peak late next year, 2025, potentially 2026. And I want to update you and educate you on what I suspect to happen along Bitcoin's journey and how markets will affect everything ongoing. So give the video a like down below. Make sure you share this video with a friend, have the bell turned on so you don't miss any future videos. Also, let's get on with the video. Let's go over to my screen. Let's get into it. So as I mentioned, macro factors, financial factors, and economical factors playing a huge part in markets right now. And we're at a crossroad. And what do I mean by that? Well, this red line here, this is the central bank interest rate. And I draw a strong conclusion and comparison, should I say, to where we were back in 2019. We are about to see rate cuts. Rate cuts are going to be starting in September of this year. In fact, in 2 days' time, the markets are now pricing in a 60% chance of a 50 basis point rate hike. Excuse me, rate cut, not hike. This is going to be one of at least several over the next few months and potentially few quarters. Now, there's even a 40% chance that they'll see at least a 25 basis point cut, 0.25%. So we will see cuts, and we will see a cut in September. That's the first thing. Let me know in the comments if I was right or wrong about this. Doesn't take much to predict. It's pretty much guaranteed that we will see this rate cut. So what happened in 2019, where there was fears of a looming recession before, of course, the black swan event of COVID, where the Fed started printing money like no one could ever imagine. But basically, when the Fed start to cut, it's actually in the short term not a good thing for markets, and that's because they cut because of a feared economy, weakening job market, recessionary fears. Obviously, we've just come from inflation. We've fought some of that inflation, but there's weakness in the economy now, hence why they want to start cutting. Now, the rate cutting cycle actually took place in June 2019, and you'll see shortly why I'm making these comparisons to 2019, where we are in the market for Bitcoin. It's very, very similar. Anyway, we saw rate cuts up to the point before COVID. We won't include COVID because it was a black swan event, but we saw about 215 days of rate cuts and the corresponding market decline. Okay, so actually, if you were to project that onto today's chart, you would see something like rate cuts at least till sort of February, March, April. I would say up till April, you'll likely see rate cuts. How much will they cut? Well, we don't know that yet, but I'm pretty damn sure it's not going to be anything like 90% where they cut rates all the way down from 2.5 all the way down to 0.2. We still have an inflationary issue. It's probably going to be something like maximum, in my opinion, down to 2.5%. Which would mean a 55% drop in the federal rate, which is still considerable. And that's, in my opinion, likely of where they'll get to at the bottom of where the rate cutting cycle is. Somewhere between 2.5 and 3%. But no one knows exactly yet. Things are obviously going to be changing amongst the way. But what's very interesting is this line here. So that's the interest rates. But what I think is even more interesting is the global liquidity index. What is the global liquidity index? Well, it measures monetary supply globally. This actually accounts for a few different things. For example, this includes the Federal Reserve, the ECB, the BOJ, Bank of England, amongst but a few. Now, what we saw happen in the previous cycle was a breakout. Okay, let me move that there so you can see. So the breakout we got was here. We broke out, and we're actually seeing that similar breakout in global liquidity right now. In fact, it's happened. So we're seeing that breakout, and generally after you break out of such a trend, you then can start to see a rally. You can see, actually, if I get rid of these lines to make it clear, you can see how when the global liquidity index rallies, so do markets, so do prices. And the S&P would show something similar. Since February 2022, we've seen quantitative tightening, and markets have been responding to that. Of course, at the top of the liquidity back sort of November, December 2021, markets peaked, and they've been shrinking since. Now we're starting to see quantitative easing or early signs of, and it's likely that we're going to see a big breakout in global liquidity to fight a slowing down economy. Hence why the rate cuts have been coming in many central banks around the world, and the Federal Reserve are just about to do that. Another interesting chart before I give you kind of my analysis and price prediction for Bitcoin 2025 is the Bitcoin dominance. We've seen dominance do very well over the last year, a couple of years in fact, and we're actually seeing Bitcoin potentially now break into a new zone where the dominance of Bitcoin could break all the way up to 71%. What I will say, however, is Bitcoin dominance going up isn't necessarily a good sign for Bitcoin pricing. In fact, it can often mark dips in the market. Right now, what I believe is going to happen, so throughout the rest of, well, at least till December 2024, I am expecting Bitcoin to actually carry on with a bit of a decline. Back in 2019, excluding COVID, we're not going to include this crazy candle, but back then we did see a decline from peak to trough of 53%. So far, this dip that we're currently seeing has been as much as 31%. Yeah, we might not see 50% because the market is a bigger price now, scale of economy. But I think it's fair to say that we might see a touchdown to the 200-week moving average, just like we saw previously. Okay, so from peak to trough to the 200-day moving average, well, that was in fact an 84%. But if you do it from this point, you got sort of like a 57% correction. I don't think we're going to see anything like that, but from the peak to the 200-week moving average, it's 45%, coming down to 40,000 euros. Sorry, $40,000. I believe that would be likely and realistic. 40,000 would actually be a very interesting confluence in terms of fib levels as well, where you can see the golden pocket sits just beneath that if you go by the very bottom peak. So it's something that could be very realistic in terms of a price target. And if you do it from this previous point, you do get kind of 41,000. So it's in the middle. I do expect 40,000 to hit before we break all-time highs for Bitcoin. But beyond that, going towards the end of the year into January, that's where I believe we break out. Just like we got the breakout you know, in the previous form of the cycle, you had this major resistance level at that kind of 14, 15K. Well, we're seeing that major resistance level here at this point here, which is the $61,000, $62,000 level. When we get the breakout, things can really start to rally, and we can expect obviously much higher prices for Bitcoin. And I'll show you what price prediction I have. This is the exciting bit of this video, so if you stay tuned to this point, well done. And I'll make a quick mention, if you want to actually buy and trade Bitcoin crypto, I have a $10,000 bonus down below. It's up to 10K, it depends how much you deposit. The great thing about Blowfin, guys, it's a no KYC crypto trading platform. They've recently just brought in some great features. All the coins you want, no KYC. You've got trending crypto, so you can find what's good to trade right now. There's demo trading as well, so you can practice. Using the link in the video description below, guys, you will get up to $10,000 using that link. And also I have, for anyone's interested, a Blowfin 2024-2025 trading tutorial, no KYC, so you can use it from anywhere in the world, so check that out. Now, Bitcoin, price prediction. Let's have a look from bottom to top, how long this bull market lasted for in terms of days? Well, it was an 852-day cycle. If we want to be conservative, we can do it from the bottom of the COVID spike, just for anyone who wants to be more conservative, was 396 days. So from the bottom, the recent bottom, December 2021, if you did anything like that same period of days, once again, for anyone that wants to know, that period of days was 610. If you do it from the very bottom to the very top, it's 1,066 days. So if you want to look at that cycle like that and do around 1,000 days, it takes you to around, approximately speaking, August, September of 2025. And if you go across the axis, it takes you to about $187,000 by the resistance line. But like we did in the previous cycle, we came down, we went up again. So my price target really does take us somewhere from $175,000 to $225,000 Bitcoin. That would be a much less of a percentage move than previously. The 2018 to 2021 move took us 2,000%, so 20x. I mean, if we did anything like that, we'd be far higher. That would mean 350,000. If we did half of that, so like a 10x, that would take us up to about 192,000. If we did like a 7.5x, it's 150,000. So I believe 150,000 at the bare minimum, but probably more likely 175 to $225,000 Bitcoin. Let me know if you're watching this some point in the summer or even spring, summer, fall of 2025. Let me know how accurate I was, and make sure you're sharing this video, whether I was wildly wrong or wildly right. I'm happy to be both. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, I'm putting my neck on the line. It's September 2024 right now, so I don't know. But this is what I suspect to happen as a summary. This is what I believe is going to happen. We're going to consolidate a bit more, a little bit further down to 40. We'll come back up. We'll break that level. And then over the course of 2025 into the later part of the year, it's going to look basically something like that. That takes us time to kind of this point here. That's what I believe will happen going by previous cycles. If you want to trade it, like I said, links are below for some free crypto. You need to sign up and deposit at least $100. And you'll get up to 10k in free crypto on 𝗏𝗏𝗧 exchange Bluefin. And lastly, if anybody wants to use a trading bot, AI, link down below for 𝗕𝗫𝗄𝗍. Really good automated trading, manages risk. You can do it all on Telegram, and there's an AI GPT feature there as well to help with trading and analysis. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you again on another video. Feel free to check out any one of these tutorials on trading and crypto education. Thank you for joining me. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.